Hi, I am Zero. This is my podcast, Zero Does Stuff, because I does stuff and fuck grammar. Who really needs it? As long as you can be understood, right? And the stuff
I
I
agree.
usually does is TTRPG related, and today is no different. Today, we will be making a Brindlewood Bay mystery with the help of you guys, the audience. But I brought in some experts today to teach us how to do this and walk us through the steps and answer any of our burning Brindlewood Bay questions. So I would like to introduce both Emma and David from the Trials of the Apocalypse podcast. Thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. I don't think
Yeah.
I've ever been introduced on anything as an expert before, so that's exciting.
More power to you.
And speaking of expertness, what exactly are your Brindlewood Bay? I forgot what the word is I wanted to use. Credentials. There we go. Wow,
there
that
we
went
go.
far.
Well,
It's mostly you, so you should talk mostly.
well, I don't know about that.
I'm behind the scenes, behind the curtains.
Yeah, I of course have. I say of course for anyone joining us who's not familiar. Hi, my name is David. I host a lot of the show Trials of the Apocalypse, a podcast where we play different Powered by the Apocalypse games. And in the course of that, and also in the course of doing guest spots with Sero on Sero's stream, and as well as other places as well, I've run and played a fair amount of Brindlewood Bay. And Emma has, with every mystery that I have ever put out, been a huge help in writing and creating that.
Except for the very first one, which is Bitter Rivals, which I had to help in helping to
Yeah, you were there for the
the
edit before publish.
Yeah, before publish.
Yeah.
But he mostly wrote that one actually with, was it Jell and Nix?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, who also are part of the show often. So,
because I played in that one, so I couldn't know what was going to happen there.
Yeah.
But after playing a couple of times, I was like, hey, this is really fun in the making of the thing, and in fact, I like that more than the playing of the thing. So I'll help with the making of the thing, so I can still be involved.
And so together, we've written 5 mysteries so far. One of which, I was going through my notes, one of which I haven't committed to electronic, so I just have like a dummy file for it right now. The hard copy is back in the United States, and I'll have to go grab that notebook when we visit next. But the ones we've done for Sarah's stream has been Trick or Bleat, a mystery of a
Halloween.
It's a missing goat.
Yeah.
Eldritch goat.
Yeah.
It can be taken multiple ways.
It certainly went that way.
But it is a sweepstweek, if I remember.
We had a Shamrock
Tell Pat
Strangler.
To ship it. Dixon.
Shamrock Strangler, which was a
St. Patrick's Day.
Thank you. Appreciate you so much.
I'm here for words.
St. Patrick's Day themed one. We've done a bunch of holiday themed ones for that series. Eventually we'll get on to not holiday ones. Hopefully today we'll make a not holiday one.
Unless people want to make a holiday one.
Unless they do. Broad Stripes and Bright Scars was a 4th of July military reenactment one, which was fun. We just did The Devil You Grow, which was Arbor Day sort of themed.
That has been my favorite one to write so far.
Yeah, it was really
by
fun.
the way.
Yeah.
The one that we wrote but then never got finalized because we had to cancel that stream was Shop Till You Drop Dead, which was a sort of holiday
Black Friday.
Yeah, well, no, that one was a Christmas.
Black Friday.
Well, that's where the original idea came from. This is, but it was like ended up being like a Christmas, like a market sort of thing.
Oh, right.
And yeah. But it started off as a Black Friday idea, and then we ended up pushing. That stream kept getting pushed, so it changed a few times. But
it may still happen at some point.
As I said, I have the notes.
Watch
somewhere.
this space.
Yeah.
And for anyone who's interested in that, Bitter Rivals mysteries that you guys got published as part of an anthology, the link for that is available in the chat right there, right?
Oh, you're on it.
Sarah's got her stuff together.
That's right.
I did this shit this morning. Last minute, as usual.
Very nice.
Yeah, we hung out on the couch and and watch music videos on YouTube, and that's what we spend our morning doing.
That's how we hyped.
That's right.
Our sleep schedule has been a time
Yeah.
because David has been working mostly nights and has just
Just wrapped up.
for
So.
the time being. And so we have been little vampires over here for the last little bit of time. There were straight up several days in the last couple of weeks where we went to bed as the sun rose and woke up around the time it set. But
We were perfect vampires. But not today. Today, this is a lovely 1 in the afternoon local time
1 o'clock
stream.
local time is the best time. It is. Okay.
I've got an LNP, we've got a Coke, we've got water ready. We're hyped to talk about some Brindlewood Bay.
Okay. So quickly, let's explain what Brindlewood Bay is, and then we'll go into your Brindlewood Bay lecture, which I hope you've prepared for.
Yeah, well, you could say that.
he's always prepared for a Brindlewood
I'm
Bay
always
lecture.
prepared for a Brindlewood Bay lecture. Brindlewood Bay is one of my very favorite games. I think for a while there I was saying it was my favorite TTRPG. Right now, it's hard to say between that and the Silt Verses, which I've been playing a lot of lately, which is super.
They scratch different itches, I think.
Completely different. Yeah, totally. But Brindlewood Bay is a game about a bunch of pleasant old retired women living in the community Brindlewood Bay, a coastal community in Massachusetts. And they solve their local murder mysteries. Sometimes, not always murder, but usually murder, in a very Murder, She Wrote sort of way. But there is also this subtle, darker, more eldritch dimension to the story, as there is a dark conspiracy that is baked into the game that is sort of occurring in the background. And you can collect both clues for the various mysteries and also void clues, which are part of the darker conspiracy. And those tend to be kind of weird and wild because the dark conspiracy can take many forms, but it's almost always trying to complete some kind of grand ritual to bring forth some kind of end of the world. And it's a really fun game to play in a whole campaign for that reason, because as you progress with your grandmas through every mystery, by the time you get to the end of it, you've built up all this rapport between the characters and kind of all of this localized lore that you develop in the course of a campaign. And then you get to the end, and all of those weird little bits and bobs that have popped up throughout all kind of come together into something that makes good on all of those awkward promises.
Mechanically, it's a play to find out game.
Extremely play to find out.
So the mysteries do not have necessarily set solutions to them.
Yeah. Brindlewood Bay mysteries are termed emergent mysteries, in that there's no set solution, and as a result, preparing for them is rather unlike how you might prepare for a mystery you're running in Monster of the Week, or heck, even in D&D or other like common sandboxy system, where usually you want to have a good idea of where it's going to go. And in Brindlewood Bay, instead, you have a good idea of what the themes are, and then you let the players really lead where the story actually goes.
It's an interesting writing challenge for sure.
Oh yeah, because when you're developing a mystery for Brindlewood Bay, it can be really easy to like get in your head a pretty strong idea of what you kind of conceive of the solution as.
I'm really, really guilty of this.
Emma will start like pitching clues that are just like very obviously for one solution. It's like, all right, let's dial back. Let's make it a little broader. But I think that it's good usually when you're working on Brindlewood Bay mystery to have maybe like 2 or 3 very mutually exclusive solutions kind of in your head. And when you're building towards those, you of course have all of the context of working on the mystery from the inside. But then as whatever clues or characters or suspects are sort of sprinkled throughout the story, it's very, very easy, as long as you have just a little bit of diversity in those, for players to take it in a radically different direction. Our Bitter Rivals mystery I've run, I think, 4 times now. And it has never gone the same way twice, as far as like what they arrive at as the conclusion at the end. Even like how they go about, you know, there are common locations, there are common suspects, there are common clues, but like how those are actually arrayed before the players, how they pop up, and then what they do with them is always pretty different.
Your brother's in the chat.
Oh hell yeah! Hey Pat.
Hi, Pat. I say that like he's not my brother, too. Brother-in-law.
Legally speaking.
Yeah.
I am legally obligated to recognize him as my brother.
and of course pick on him like he was my brother.
Of course.
Yeah.
It's necessary. I didn't grow up with brothers, so I get to pick on them now.
Yep.
Fair enough. So how does one sit down and come up with a Brindlewood Bay mystery? You've said it's different from Monster of the Week, okay, and probably wildly different from something like D&D. So where do we start? What's the I can't think of words. What's the starting point? We'll go with
What's
that.
the seed?
Yeah. I think that is the crux of it, is you need a seed. You need kind of a root idea. Often for us, that has been obviously like these ones have a lot of our recent ones have been themed based on different holidays. So that gives you like a bunch of touch points to connect to. What you think of when that holiday comes to mind gives you lots of fun themes to immediately start considering and start thinking about playing with. The other major thing I think that it really helps to start off a Brindlewood Bay mystery is having an idea of a set piece, whether that's a particular clue that the players might find, whether that's a particular place. Having a location with little sub-locations is a very common way to handle Brindlewood Bay mysteries.
There's the one that is in a bunch of Brindlewood Bay mysteries. That's the cracked trophy, if I remember right. Or the cracked award.
That's a common clue. That's because Jason Cordova, who wrote Brindlewood Bay, really likes to hide a Shattered Britty award in every mystery he can conceivably add it in. And you can have lots of unifying things across mysteries, especially if you're like writing for a campaign. Common suspects, sometimes common clues. You can have little sprinklings of that to like build, a cohesive kind of feel for your Brindlewood Bay. This is true of the mysteries that come with the game, where you have like Sheriff Dalrymple as a character who it will pop up in multiple mysteries. He's commonly a suspect involved because of his connection to the police in the sound.
If you followed along with our holiday mysteries, a character that has popped up in a bunch of them is Kiana Gilbert, who actually originally comes from Bitter Rivals.
Yep.
She's been around basically since the beginning.
Since the start.
And she's one of our favorites.
Yeah, Kiana is my Dalrymple. She just shows up everywhere. She's inevitably involved in my my version of Brindlewood Bay. But
that's cool, considering my character thinks of her sort of a rival, and she originated from the Bitter Rivals mystery.
That's true.
Coincidence? I think not.
Oh, total coincidence.
But yeah, I think usually we find an idea and then we just start to expand on it. We gotta hydrate. Ooh.
I'll do actual hydrating.
And Brindlewood Bay mysteries are composed of three major pieces. You have locations, which are different places where you expect your players to probably go in the course of the mystery. You can always like add some of these on the fly if a mystery like evolves in ways that nobody expects. But usually when you're writing out a mystery, you'll have a number of locations that, based on whatever your crux is, you kind of expect them to end up exploring at least a few of these in the course of their investigation. The other major piece is suspects. You have people who may have committed the murder or whatever the crime may be. And those, although they're all under the suspect category, you can often have ones that skew more suspicious and ones that skew less suspicious. And that can be great for the information gathering phase of the game because then you have, characters who the Mavens might trust more. And in the case of bad rolls, you could always like kill off a well-liked suspect, or you could make one that was, seemingly harmless. Now, like, oh wow, like they're not harmless at all. They just, did this bad thing right in front of us, this sort of thing. So suspects are another way to tilt the story in different directions. And then clues. Clues are the other major component of a Brindlewood Bay mystery. Because if you're really setting the tone,
Clues are the sprinkles that go on top of the cupcake.
Yeah.
That really make it tasty.
Mm-hmm. You can have just sugar, but you could also have, like a little bit of streusel on top,
or those little edible like pearl balls that they do. Yeah.
Heck, some gold luster, just something a little pretty on the top.
Gust of delicious.
Yeah, slice of orange. I don't know, something garnish. But
they're also, interestingly, kind of the most important part as well, because they are the driving force forward most of the time. And an important thing to remember that I often forget when making clues is that your clues don't have to be physical objects. They can be little pieces of information, rumors, stuff like that.
Yeah, one of my favorite types of clues to write are phrases that the players might hear or see, like because you can integrate those in so many different ways. Like anywhere there could be text or anywhere where they might hear something, a phrase could be spoken. So like in Bitter Rivals, one of the clues that is along that line section.
The days of the Firebird are numbered.
Yeah. So that is a clue, and that could appear. I think I've had it appear like on a student collage on like a wall in the school before. That's like been overheard and as part of a phone conversation in the office. That's been like in a like murder style magazine clipping note that someone has left before. So there's lots of ways that clues can be revealed that are interesting. And one of the great things about running a Brindlewood Bay mystery is the clues themselves are designed to be specific, but how they're revealed and kind of the exact nature of them is often still like kind of squishy. You can adjust and you can fine tune for whatever fits in your exact scene. And so clues when you're writing them, it's really tricky because you are straddling a kind of thin line between you want to set the tone of the mystery right. You want the stuff you want to play with to be present in the story, but then you also like don't want to get too specific and like tie the hands of whoever is actually the keeper for it and whoever's running. So it's kind of a blend. You want it to be inspirational ultimately.
Till all are one is good, Dixon.
Yeah.
Also, LNP is just a soft drink. It is not alcoholic.
If you want to make it alcoholic, I think, what is it, Mississippi Moonshine or something they recommend?
Mm-hmm. I was just thinking some like lemon vodka.
Yeah. I've actually been mixing it 50-50 with a
ginger beer.
Yeah, ginger beer, because ginger beer here is often alcoholic, whereas it's basically impossible to find alcoholic ginger beer in the States. It's all soda. Yeah.
Well, the non-alcoholic ginger beer would be Bundaberg.
Yeah, Bundaberg's great. But I like to mix it. I like to make myself a shandy. I'll mix it L&P half and half with a nice ginger beer. Really. But I'm out of ginger beer now, so it's just L&P today.
You'll have to go out and buy more. You can do that in the daytime.
Yeah, it's true.
As long as we bring our passports.
Yeah. It was so funny because like they have to check if you look, under
35.
I think it's like under 25. Like we are.
Oh yeah, no, that's right.
But like I don't really look under 25.
I'm 43 and I still get ID'd at the supermarket. I was like, and I'm there with my little old lady mum. I'm like, I'm not the one buying the alcohol. She's buying it on her food. I'm just shit a trolley. Look at me,
Yeah.
it's not mine. I'm not drinking it. I don't drink. Uh,
I've never seen that stuff before in my life.
so is that essentially the basic? You really just need locations, suspects, and clues?
That's the
Wh-
basics. The other piece, it's not one of the building blocks, but it's kind of like if each of these is a pillar, this is like the roof that goes on top. Um, every mystery starts off with a introduction. And that introduction establishes a couple of key things about a Brindlewood Bay mystery. Actually, the introduction is called Presenting the Mystery. And you introduce the complexity of the mystery, which is just how many clues you need before the theorized roll at the end of the mystery is considered a flat roll. If you have a complexity of 6, for instance, that means that if you only collect 5 clues and then decide to roll theorize, then you're one short of the complexity, so you have a -1 to your theorized roll. If you collect 7, then you have one more, so you get a +1 to your theorized roll. I have seen this done. You can also, oh, it's a complexity 6 mystery. Awesome. We're going to theorize right away. We have no clues. We have a -6 to the roll. Let's go.
Terrible idea.
It has
Okay,
been done.
let's back it up a little bit and talk about how it is that the solution is decided by the players at the end and what the role that complexity role actually means. Just for those
Yeah.
who are not familiar with Brindlewood Bay.
Yeah, let's talk some mechanics.
Yeah.
In Brindlewood Bay, you collect clues. Your mavens collect clues in order to and like interview suspects and learn enough in order to be able to make an assertion at towards the end of the game, which is called the theorize move. And this is where the players have a freewheeling discussion and they discuss the mystery and come to a conclusion of what they think happened. This is like very much like you might have your Hercule Poirot, explaining to the folks in the dining car, who committed the murder, sort of scenes. Often that'll be your theorize, and then you'll get into your closing scene. And with the theorize, it is the players who say, "Hey, this is what I think is going on," and then they can all build off of each other and integrate all of the clues. You can ignore some clues if you don't like have a way to integrate them or you think that's a red herring. But if you don't integrate the clue, then it doesn't contribute towards your complexity. So, you can always collect too many clues and then kind of shrink down to the ones you care about if you'd like to do that. But basically, after you've established what you think is going on, you then roll for it. Brindlewood Bay is a game where all of the rolls are conducted with d6s. You roll 2 of those unless you have advantage, but you can't have advantage on theorize, so don't worry about that. But you roll 2 of those, and then if you have a 6 to 9, that is a success, but it's a mixed one. If you get a less than or rather, a 7 to 9 is a mixed success. A 6 minus is a failure, and then a 10 plus is a strong success.
What does that mean?
Well, that means that in the case of theorize, if you have a strong success, that means that you'll have a easier time with the conclusion of the mystery. So, like if what your scene that you're describing is that the Mavens do have kind of a all suspects gathered, here is who really finger the murderer sort of vibe, then you'll be able to close that out in a safe, fairly easy manner. If you have a
Take
mixed
them away,
success,
boys.
yeah, exactly. The police come in, the FBI, riot folks show up. Who knows? Like whatever you decide, it's very much you have a lot of narrative control over how it closes out. If you have a mixed success, then the keeper still presents your answer is still correct, and the keeper still presents to you a situation to resolve the mystery. But it's often more fraught with danger. You'll have to overcome a couple of obstacles before you can actually truly close it out. And people can get hurt along the way, sort of vibe. And if you get a 6 minus and it's a miss, then your theory is wrong, and something else happens, and then you have to roll with that. Now, all of your clues that you previously used, you actually do get to use again on a later theorize, but you have to collect some number of more clues, try again, and your old theory just is not true. So you have to completely like rework whatever your hypothesis is. And actually, I love when that happens because getting something wrong in Brindlewood Bay always leads to like some really extreme pivot as far as like the situation immediately after. And the conclusion that the Mavens come up with the second time is always insane. It's like the like, or it's like, oh, how did we miss this all along? Really, this is what was clearly going on. Like those are the sort of vibes, and it's really really fun. It's awesome.
You got a friend.
Oh yeah, yep.
I should also warn you that they've demanded the do a voice is added to the Kiwi coin. So
Oh,
you
no.
may have to talk in a voice if they spend that. I think they just want you to speak in Captain, my captain. So be prepared.
I mean, it is a fun voice to explain things in, for sure.
I would engage in this, but you don't want to hear any of the voices that I try to do. It's not fun. There's a reason that I just sound exactly the same in every Toda episode, except for the one where we play BB and...
My rule for that one is everybody had to do their grandma voice. It's required.
Well,
we got to do a voice. There it is.
Yep. You've got to do a voice.
All right. So let's discuss what else there is going on here today. What's going on?
So the problem with this is that when he was doing this voice, I was playing a character who hated him. So he starts doing this voice, and I am immediately filled with rage.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's fine.
You've been triggered.
Genuinely. No. An important thing, one of my other favorite bits of this as we're going through talking about these things, for the locations, a very important part is a section of the mystery called Paint the Scene. And these are questions that you ask your players to basically get a vibe of the space that you have entered into. And usually you basically are giving them a little piece of information and then letting them generate some ideas for how that information shows itself in the scene.
As part of presenting the mystery, you also often have to do a paint the scene question. Really let the Mavens, establish where they are or what's going on when they hear about the murder. You also have what's called an establishing question. Or crime. Yes.
Or crime.
Sometimes the goat is just missing, and you have to find the goat and stop the horrible ritual that the goat is creating in the midst of this parade.
Sometimes the mystery is, hey, what the hell is going on in this botanical garden?
Hey, Todd? What the fuck? You also have an establishing question as part of presenting the mystery, which is a question that is posed to the Mavens that's designed to link them to the situation in some way. This is like the hook for what makes this personal or interesting to the Mavens in some way. In the case of Bitter Rivals, the establishing question. Well, first, for anyone unfamiliar with our mystery, Bitter Rivals is about a school mascot that is murdered, or at least like the costume is found like in a bloody mess, and the person behind the costume is missing, and so it's up to the Mavens to decide kind of what happened there. And the establishing question for it is, first, everything starts off with there being some sort of big game or event, and the paint the scene is for the Mavens to decide what event that is, like that the high school has. But then the establishing question that ties the Mavens to it is, why is the outcome of today's event meaningful to you personally? Why did you need to see the outcome in person? What brought the Mavens here to watch this game or event? And having an establishing question is a really important hook as part of that presenting the mystery, because it gives all the Mavens a reason to be there, beyond just their passive curiosity in mysteries and mystery novels. Like the Murder Mavens are a book club in the setting, and it's only coincidence that they also solve mysteries. Really happenstance, but
purely by accident that they solve.
So I think a good place to start in creating one, as we've sort of talked about, is like a theme.
Yeah.
Of some sort.
And that can be as specific as a holiday, like we've been doing for some of the mysteries recently. Or it can be, it could be like the themes you want to play with. Or like a setting that's really interesting to you. One of my favorite mysteries from the base collection, from the base game is, well, I guess it's part of the base game. Anyway, it's part of like the ones you can get as part of the Kickstarter, at least. Is Exit Stage Death, which is where the Mavens go to view a play outside of Brindlewood Bay, and there's like some big King in Yellow vibes for the Eldritch element, and there's like a murder that happened on stage, and they have to like talk to all the members of this play, and it's very moody, atmospheric, very like sort of Baroque theater.
Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah, very
vibes.
Phantom of the Opera vibes. And it's like a blast because of that.
There are lots of parts of Brindlewood Bay as a game that do intersect, of course, with making the mysteries. Like, for example, the Delacourt series.
Mhm.
I'm answering Dixon's question. And also things like putting on crowns or having special crowns for particular mysteries. But we're starting off as simple as possible. Just like, what are the main parts of a mystery? Let's get those down, and then if we want, like,
Yeah, we'll, as we go through each of these sections and we actually build one together, we'll expand on them a little bit. But I think we've covered kind of the basics of what goes into a mystery. So maybe we start working with chat and we come up with a topic or theme for a mystery that's interesting. Oh, I mean, the other obvious way to pick a thing is like, who died.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's where you start. Like in the case of the name of that one, our Shamrock Strangler. I wanted like somebody who was involved in like the fishing industry in Brindlewood Bay to have been murdered, because like I wanted themes, like I was already kind of mulling over like themes of like green, like Greenpeace sort of vibes for it, even though like that's not exactly terribly.
You were thinking environmentalism.
Yeah,
Because,
yeah. It's like taking a spin on green being an important color for the holiday.
Kermit.
Yeah, Kermit the Frog.
There you go. You get a free one.
Yeah, it's not easy being green.
Okay. So, audience, do you have any suggestions? Holidays, a dead person, or a person to die? Don't have to
Or
be
other-
a dead person. Probably better if it's fictional.
Or other themes. Bingo night.
Bingo
That's a
night
good
is good.
option,
Bingo
yeah.
night is fun.
Certainly another way to approach it would be, where would all the Mavens be together and what could happen there?
Yeah, also true.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, one I thought of, I'm sure somebody's already written one, but like a cruise would also be fun.
Yeah, I mean, there's Dad Overboard.
Yeah, but that's like a yacht that's visiting. It's not a
cruise.
There is a boat. It's true.
Quilt Circle.
Quilt Circle's
A
good.
local soprano dies before a big show.
Very nice.
Could go very music themed.
Ooh, what's fun about that one is you get into all like the petty rivalry elements of that. So like it's
we definitely
easy.
Don't enjoy petty rivalry over here with our mystery open called Bitter Rivals.
I mean, you could also do a bit of competitiveness on bingo night too.
Oh yeah, people take bingo seriously.
There's always that lady who wins. How can she always win?
We just had Scrabble tourney mystery, old school board games, Trivial Pursuit, which makes me think of like a trivia night where part of the mechanic is that you have to answer trivia questions to get clues or something like that.
There's also there is one that's a like murder mystery night, but somebody actually gets murdered.
Classic.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a trope at this point, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's such a fun way to take it, obviously, right?
Local bake-off judge dies.
Or it could be the local silver-haired fox dies.
bird show is cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of you basically like if you can think of a situation where 2 to 4 older women who enjoy reading mysteries would not be out of place.
Might conceivably be there. And harm may come to somebody.
And sometimes you don't have to make up an excuse for why they're there. Sometimes it just sort of goes.
You were nearby shopping.
Yeah, fringe theater murder would be fun. This keeps pulling me back. Dixon's idea of the local soprano dies before a big show. There's something about like a concert, like like an opera in Brindlewood Bay that gets disrupted by this.
He's also just suggested an entire field of local farmers' sheep disappeared without a trace, which has me thinking like, ooh, crop circle mystery.
Oh, that is fun.
We could tap into my really unfortunate amount of
ancient aliens
knowledge.
But what one tickles your fancy?
Oh.
Well, someone wants farmers market drama.
Aliens take over the farmers market.
Okay. All right. Here's my pitch. Based on these ideas. Our conceit is there is a farmer's market in Brindlewood Bay, and something is happening where farmers are having their crops or their animals like disappear. Like the day before they're supposed to be brought to market.
Like it's a show. It's a prize fair show.
Ooh, that's fun.
Yeah.
So now we're talking like
because you gotta have the stakes,
like a state fair sort of vibes.
Yeah, you gotta have the stakes.
Well, but put mild pushback on that. People getting upset about stupid things is one of the best parts of Brindlewood Bay.
The stakes don't have to be important to anybody except to the people who are, there. But like some of my sheep went missing is not quite as big a draw as
my prize
sheep went missing.
Yeah, fair.
Because who wants to take out the prize sheep? Now you've got like suspects. Now you've got motive. Motive is important.
We have county fair. Not quite busy. Yeah. County fair is better than a state fair.
County fair is
sure.
good.
Let me look up real quick some Massachusetts state counties.
Now we enter the research section.
Ooh, there are 2 booths at the market that have best rhubarb and Brindlewood Bay banners.
Oh, very good.
All right. So
it's got to be Middlesex, right?
I usually when I'm doing name picking, I pick whatever name is funniest, and I did just immediately see Middlesex, which is very good. Although it's not coastal. Essex is.
Suffolk is. Plymouth.
Barnstable is fun.
Barnstable's pretty funny.
Actually, Barnstable is kind of perfect.
The Barnstable County Fair.
Yeah, Barnstable County Fair. Because Brindlewood Bay is in Barnstable. Yeah. All right. Barnstable County.
It's pronounced Barnstable.
It's pronounced Barnstable.
Okay. Apologies to anybody who is in Massachusetts. Yeah. Yes.
Feel free to throw this information in the Google Doc.
Yeah. So let's see. We'll think of a name here in a second. Or actually, chat.
Yeah, chat.
You have a job.
Start noodling.
We need a title for this mystery.
Think of weird fair puns. Fair, barnyard, sheep.
Yeah, so we're taking some notes here. We'll label this our presenting the mystery section.
Mass, as in Massachusetts, not like Catholic mass.
No, that's fair.
All's fair in love and sheep.
Ooh, that's pretty good. Well, Massachusetts, right? Did I get that first try? Wow, I'm not getting angry.
Yeah, no, you seem to be good. Or, no, Google would know.
Yeah.
It's the name of a state. Google would know.
County fair. Animals and plants. Like, I want corn to be gone, man. Somebody is growing corn in Massachusetts, which is already a bold move. And
something bad at the county fair. All's fair in love and corn.
Oh, that's very good.
I usually come up with pretty good ones.
It's true. I think you've named
a few of them.
Let me look. I named Bitter Rivals.
Trick or Bleat was
Trick or
mine.
Bleat was yours. The W Grow was mine.
Yeah.
Um,
I've gotten a couple, but Shamrock Strangler
I think
was
you
yours.
had Broad Stripes and Bright Scars.
I think I was originally the one that did it, yeah.
Yeah.
A Bad Day at the Petting Zoo is also good. That's a 10-year-old wrote that for Brindlewood Bay. It's a lot of fun.
Let's see. What suggestions we've had? All Fairs and Love and Sheep. You
All's
riffed on
Fair
that.
in Love and
Fair, Love
Corn.
and Corn, which is fair.
Then you have to make sure there's corn involved.
I mean, that's not
Or
hard.
not. Just to mess with them.
Somebody could be making shirts out of like corn leavings and calling them crop tops.
That's fun. Let's see. What? I'm looking up agriculture in Massachusetts. Yeah, we're in the research
section.
phase. Let's see. Agriculture accounts for a large part of state. But no, aquaculture counts for a large part of state agriculture.
Oh, that's actually very interesting.
Oyster and somebody's oysters. Oof.
Oysters good. Cranberries is mentioned as well.
Farm spears and fallacy.
That's nice.
Also good.
Alliteration's good for title.
Maybe something around things disappearing would also be good.
A funny thing happened at the fair yesterday.
Well, chat, keep stewing on names. Let's explore this mystery a little bit further. So yeah, county fair animals and vegetables are missing. Let's say let's make this a little bit more specific, right? What if we have some people who are like regular contenders who are very successful at the fair, like who often win blue ribbons for their animals or their pumpkins or whatever they're bringing to the fair. In fact, let's say a single farm was targeted.
Oh,
I like the idea of sheep. That's a great idea. So like they raise sheep, they do some farming. They have like, let's say, corn, pumpkins, cranberries. Apparently are big in Massachusetts. So cranberries,
oysters,
yep.
And all of their all of the animals and plants and all the grown stuff that they're bringing to the fair was like set aside the week before, like in their own little special area, and like the night before they disappeared.
So now we name the family.
Yeah. So specific farm.
Oh, Dyed in the Wool is very good. I also like Poof Goes the Floof.
That's a cute one.
It might have to be Dyed in the Wool.
Dyed in the Wool is good.
Or Wolf in Sheep's Clothing, something based on that would be fun.
I like that we're doing a like more like mystery rather than murder mystery. This is showcasing what you can do with Brindlewood Bay, where you don't have to be quite as classic about it.
Mm-hmm.
You can have something have happened, and the Mavens have to investigate it.
We got missing blue ribbon farm fair.
So yeah, let's name this farmer family. It should be something funny. It should be something clever or funny or otherwise. This is definitely seeming like it's going to be a more comedy focused mystery.
What about alpacas?
Alpacas are good as animals. You're saying as the name of the farmers?
No, you were just saying that you needed some weird comedic thing to go missing. So I thought instead of sheep, it could be alpacas.
Alpacas are great.
Maybe the sheep are replaced with alpacas.
Replaced with something else is also fun rather than disappear outright. But if we do want to work in, I do like the idea of having some like clues that are vaguely alien themed and like having like a crop circle that has been made that could be a location to explore. either somebody is framing aliens or there are actually aliens involved as potential routes of theorize would be fun.
Because my brain goes to nursery rhymes and fairy tales first and foremost most of the time. The first thing that came to mind is like, oh, it's the McDonald farm.
Yep. It could be the
Ooh,
McDonald's
when
farm.
pigs fly is good. Unidentified fairing object. No, that sounds fey.
Yeah, it sounds a little fey. I like where your head's at, though. There's something there.
Mm-hmm. Donald's mutton is missing.
You can maybe do like unidentified fair objects.
Something like that.
Fair. But, well, for now, we have a farm family, so then we can...
We gotta name the farm family, but
Yeah,
right now, maybe their last name is Farm.
My family, farm family.
That's a
Mick
Star Kid
Farm.
reference.
That is.
Put a Mick in front of it. Mick Farm.
Mick, it's the McFarm.
It's the McFarm.
The Mick
Yeah, okay.
Farms.
Farm with an E.
Yeah.
He's right.
The Massachusetts farm.
Okay, well, no. Okay, hear me out. The family surname is just Farmer, which is a real surname that you can have.
Mhm.
And so it's the farmers.
The farmer's farm.
The farmer's farm. And there has to be a John Farmer.
Yeah,
because
of course. The two
there's no more
like the main owners of it. It's like a little small. It's a big family business, not a small family business.
Right.
But you've got John and Mary Farmer.
Yeah.
There's also Little John.
Farmer.
And Little John.
Oh yes.
Little
so we have
John
John Farmer. We have Mary Farmer. We have Little John Farmer.
Hey, hiya.
Excellent.
Grandpa Farmer.
Grampy.
I don't know how many of the Farmer family we'll probably need. Well, actually, here's the thing to decide for this presenting the mystery. What complexity mystery we're making? Oh, so a guideline for anyone who's making a Brindlewood Bay mystery. I am really greedy with clues, so I usually like to have at least twice as many clues as there are needed for the mystery as far as like raw complexity. I'm a T-Rex. This feels like a 7. I agree with that. This feels like a 7. I could even see as low as a 6, but I think it's going to be more interesting if you make them push for that extra.
Can you explain why it feels like a 7?
Yeah, I can. So I often think about complexity as it relates to how much time I expect the mystery to take for the mavens. And I usually do my benchmarking with a group of 3 mavens, because that's most often what I run the game with. But obviously, the more players you have, the faster they will develop. The faster they'll find clues, right? Because usually the more rolls per minute you'll have, as each of the different players is going about doing their own various things. So if I'm trying to make a game that for sure will finish in 3 hours, say, then I usually aim for like a complexity 6. Because no matter what, unless the mavens really have either awful rolls or just abandon the mystery to go and investigate other things, probably they'll finish that in like a 3-hour block. So with that as like kind of a baseline, anything beyond that is going to like push the mavens to either have to like research a little bit faster if you're trying to finish in that same sort of time frame, or it might like push the mystery out to being a 2-parter, where you have to spend more than one 3-hour session on getting through a whole mystery. That's how I think of it usually. So to me, like your base complexity for like a nice, fast, definitely finishable mystery is about 6. 7 is like pushing that a little bit higher. 8 is something where you really want the mavens to like sink their teeth into it. I think the highest I've ever really seen is like 9. I think anything higher than that is probably egregious. Probably the mystery will have overstayed its welcome if you push too high.
Dixon's just got just going through various titles.
Good. I'm excited to read back through them.
Oh, very cool.
We've got a handful of suspects here. We'll add more as we think.
What I like about the
We stand on the
title,
scene.
All's Fair in Love and Corn, is that you can get, if you want, you could do like a star-crossed lovers thing between the farmer family and some other family. Little John Farmer.
I had not considered the Shakespearean angle in all of this.
Drama, David.
You're right. You're absolutely right. All right. I will have that as the working title for now. It's too good not to.
Also, Children of the Corn, very important, very good.
Children of the
farmers and
cornfield. Or the corn farmers. Children of the corn farm. Or the corn cob. Children of the corn cob.
This is where I thesaurus.
For other words that mean
Yeah,
farmer.
because Dixon has proposed an excellent thing, was like the idea of like having between the farmers and the farm.
I'm sorry. Is there an ant on our screen? There is. Oh my goodness. Sorry.
We've been dealing with very tiny ants that have been hard to eliminate.
Yeah, that happens in New Zealand.
Yeah. Go far. Let's see. What do we got?
Clodhopper.
Clodhopper's fun.
Harvester. Horticulturist. Homesteader.
Gardener is also a last name.
Yeah, gardener.
So it could be the farmers and the gardeners.
That's pretty good.
Ooh, and a bit of rivalry.
They are also probably sugar ants.
Yeah. I kind of like the gardeners. So we have John Farmer, Mary Farmer. I really forgot about John Farmer. That really tickles me for whatever reason. John Farmer, Mary Farmer, Little John Farmer. This is a Brindlewood Bay mystery we're working on. So Kiana Gilbert's going to be there. She's
it's spelled with a Q. I've been calling her all the K names.
No, it's so much funnier that you do that though.
Because you don't know. You've never seen it written down. Yeah,
True.
No, it's Qiana is how we spell Gilbert. That's not what I meant to say.
No? You were close though.
Clip it.
Yeah. Qiana is how I spell Gilbert for sure.
My baloney has a first name. It's Gilbert.
So then we have the gardeners. So now we need funny gardener names.
Mm-hmm.
We've already done all the flower names, so you need like
we have.
Instead.
Willow Gardener.
Willow Gardener.
Yeah.
Ash Gardener's good.
And let's see, we've got
Birch. No.
I do like
Aspen.
Birch.
Birch is pretty fun.
Aspen.
Birch is fun because it's an easy person to insult now. Actually, Aspen raises a valid thing. This is not something you have to do, but it is something that I always do for Brindlewood Bay Mysteries, or really any game that I ever run.
Yeah, this is actually I think I know what you're leading to. This is a pretty important writing rule in general if you're doing anything with multiple, like lots of characters in it. Try as little as possible to not have characters' names start with the same letter.
You had a double negative there.
What did I say?
Yeah.
Try as little as possible to not.
Guys, I am so tired.
But we do our best effort to not have any characters who have names that start with the same letter. Because when you want people to pick them up very quickly and not get them confused, if we had like an Ash and an Aspen, that'd be easy for somebody who's encountering the mystery for the first time to get those mixed up.
Unless for whatever reason you want like twins in a thing, and then usually that's okay because it helps you remember like, these two are the twins.
If you want it to be confusing, I made the horrible decision in a D&D campaign I ran a while back where I had one of the most like important groups on the continent. There's 8 of them, and every one of their names starts with the letter M. And so
Mordecai, Matthias, Morgana, Matilda, Millicent,
Manuel.
There's a couple of others.
Yeah, Mutton.
Yeah.
They're all M's. M's all the way down. And that seemed like a good idea at the time until you have, 6 of them in the room together, and it's just the most confusing mess.
It was mostly bad for David because he's terrible with names.
I'm really bad with names.
The rest of
Mhm.
us, like, we had enough idea of the characters that we could deal with it, but poor David is like, Emmanuel, no. It was I
Name
think
tags.
Dixon's
Hello,
right
my
that we should
name
have
is
like
Stickers.
It's the way.
I think Dixon's right. We should have like Willow, Ash, and Greg.
Greg Gardner. All right. I love alliteration. Easy to remember.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Can't call him
We passes our
Graham
letter check.
Gardner because it's a British comedian.
And then who else might be at the fair? Who are people who might be at a county fair? I think Kiana is going to be our city representative. She's the head of the cultural center in Brindlewood Bay in our version of the setting. So her being there makes sense if Brindlewood Bay is or like I imagine maybe the fair is happening in like a large field just outside of the town.
Sure. It definitely would not be which one was it? Barnstable. That is definitely not where Brindlewood Bay is, probably. But
I mean, it is now. Brindlewood Bay is. We've narrowed down the county that Brindlewood Bay is in. It's in Barnstable, Massachusetts.
I'm pretty sure it's in Plymouth. But
no, probably. But it's fine. It is now.
Our version is going to be in Barnstable.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is definitely pronounced Barnstable.
Barnstable. Ooh, Barnstable is.
Oh.
Everybody at the this is a rule. Everybody at the fair pronounces Barnstable, Barnstable, everyone pronounces differently.
Barnstable.
There's a huge argument over what it's actually called.
Yeah.
The usual suspects at a fair would be other entrants or stall holders, judges, and of course
judges are important.
The other patrons, the other visitors, the whiny child, the running away child, the
Drake Raven would be there because he would be putting on a magic act for the kids and hating the fact that he was putting on a magic act for the kids.
I'll include him as a option at the bottom.
Drake Raven, his quote for this one: "I studied at Juilliard."
But let's do like a panelist of judges. Let's do 3 judges that were there to like go around the fair and evaluate the quality of the various crops and barn life.
Judges are often local celebrities or people who have like some accolade like that.
I think Kiana is one of the judges. That makes sense for why she's there.
Can we have like a Miss Massachusetts?
Oh, that's very fun. I do like that.
I like it better. Mr. Massachusetts.
Mr. Massachusetts? Do Mr. Massachusetts. Be polite. Mr. Massachusetts.
He's got a big sash and it just says Mr. Mass.
Wouldn't that be Bill's boyfriend's son?
Yes.
Love that.
I've forgotten his name.
Absolutely.
I mean, I don't remember either. It'd be what I love about this, if you have it like as the role, you can like have, and this is like one of the great things about Brindlewood Bay Mysteries. Really, you can apply this to any game, but I think it works very nicely in Brindlewood Bay. If this is like a later game in a campaign, you can swap out, suspects for other characters you've had from other mysteries if you feel like they'd fit nicely in that mystery. So similarly, like if you have this role of like I want somebody who's like Mr. Massachusetts, which is a fun concept. You could then pluck anyone from another mystery you've run and chuck them in there and probably make it work just fine.
Yeah, local commissioner would be good.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, yeah, we could have
Sheriff Dalrymple.
Yeah, we've talked about a mayor of Brindlewood Bay previously in what we've run on your thing, but I don't know if we've ever like actually had them as a character.
Okay, so we have the Brindlewood Bay mayor.
Okay, but hear me out. it's good. It'd be good and fun to have the mayor of Brindlewood Bay as a character who is a suspect. That's great. That's wonderful. Is it even better? This is a question for those assembled. Is it even better if the mayor is ostensibly one of the panel of judges, but nobody ever sees them? Like if this is like in the same way that like you have the assistant to Mayor Townsville and the Powerpuff Girls, where like she's always like partially off screen and like never like quite seen clearly.
I mean, her face is basically never seen.
You never,
the rest
never
of her is.
Yeah, but like having somebody who's like there, but you never like actually see them.
He's always just having just left the room.
Yeah,
and
like oh yeah, the mayor was just here, but like they're never like actually there.
So he wouldn't be on the list of. They wouldn't be on the list of suspects.
I think they are on the list of suspects in that they will be name dropped during the game. They'll just never show up in person unless you finger them. Then they have to show up at the end, like unless they are the responsible party.
Did you say finger them?
I'm going to be a real cool and mature person.
Look, it is an appropriate way to use that noun as a verb to.
It just has some other unfortunate or fortunate, depending on how you feel about it, connotations.
Yeah, okay.
Depends on how you feel about the non-existent mayor. Or Schrodinger's mayor, as the case may be.
Schrodinger's mayor!
Mayor Schrodinger!
Mayor Schrodinger!
There it is. For Brindlewood Bay, there's no better kind of
He's got to be either Mayor Schrodinger or Mayor Chekhov. Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh.
I don't have an umlaut easily accessible, but I'm pretty sure
he did it. No, he got it.
You don't have an umlaut after all your keyboard bindings and.
I know.
No umlaut.
Oh,
you don't need an umlaut for Reaper.
Macron not set up on mine, so I can't help you either.
You should check to make sure that Schrodinger even has a.
I'm pretty confident it does.
I think it does. There you go.
Nope, it's autocorrecting it away. But I'm pretty sure it does. I think it's wrong.
Is that because Google doesn't know German?
It
says a lot about Google Translate, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? If you spell it OE, then you don't need it. But if you just have that, then that's correct. Okay.
Mayor Schrodinger.
Mayor Schrodinger.
That's very funny. I like that a lot.
That's a very good detail. I like that a lot. All right, so we have a set of judges. We have some entertainment for the fair. This could also be like so Drake Raven is a close-up magic magician that we had in our very first game for Sarah's streams. So this is like a sensible character to plug into this mystery for us. But you could also like plug in you could have like a cool clown character for something like this. It's it's a county fair. You can have all sorts of crazy stuff. You could have
it is Schrodinger's umlaut. You're totally right.
It's true.
That's hilarious.
This is like a pretty good list of suspects for now.
Yeah, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yeah.
Please tell me I counted that correctly. I can't be
3, 3, 3, 1. So 10.
It's rare that I'm better at numbers than words.
So let's talk about locations a little bit. Where would be fun to go?
Oh, you need the first aid 10. Might not be fun, but because it's necessary.
We talked about like the idea of you can go to farmer's farm.
Yeah. Or like there's gonna be like the blue ribbon like the place where they judge the crops and the animals and stuff.
Like a judge's DS sort of vibes. Like where they bring them up. Don't they usually like take them up and like show them off and then
I think it's really
or are they rated in place?
So it's really dependent.
Well
some of them I have seen it done both ways. Often you'll have like the pens of different animals and like tables of, the biggest courgette zucchini for my friends
Okay.
in the West.
So you have, I don't want to say contestants.
The blue ribbon tent would be what I would call it.
Okay, where all the various animals and veg are on display for judging, or you could just call it the judging tent.
Yeah. Someone Google some word.
We're still in the research phase.
Yep. I'm sure Google or AI will pull up something interesting.
I'm just looking up a county fair map, and now I'm gonna.
He does this a lot.
Yeah, I love weird maps.
Pro tip: find just a random map or collection of maps for whatever type of place you're thinking about making. It'll give you a lot of good ideas. Pavilion.
The show pavilion.
The show pavilion.
There we are.
That's it. Judging tent.
Look, it's a placeholder.
No, I did the exact same thing. Most recently, I had to look up movie studios. I was like, what the fuck rooms are in movie studios? I don't know.
I'm a T-Rex has suggested the hot dog man. I'm going to step that up by one. It's the corn dog man.
He's in a corn dog costume.
And he's selling corn dogs.
Dangerous.
one of my favorite thing to have in mysteries is that suspect who just is everywhere. My one for Bitter Rivals is, look at his name. He's inevitable. Bartleby, the janitor. Bartleby can just like show up at any time during the mystery because
he's a janitor. Somebody request David do a voice and ask him to do Bartleby. That'll be fun. Although Pat will be upset, but that's fine.
But I like the idea of the corn dog man being our Bartleby style suspect, where he's just the corn dog man can always be there. The corn dog man hears all. The corn dog man sees all, and he's also selling corn dogs. Please buy a corn dog. He won't tell you anything unless you buy a corn dog.
Yeah.
He's got as many ears as he has corn.
Ooh. Now, I got a character like that in my two published mysteries. It's Tommy. In the first one, he's in the haunted house mystery. He's he got kicked out of home, so he's living in the haunted house pretending to be a ghost. So he wears a stained pink sheet with little eye holes in it. And in the second one, he actually gets a job in the Christmas village. I don't think I've released that one yet. So, but yeah, he turns up in various places.
I love that so much. I love the idea of a stained pink sheet.
And he's wearing his boxers underneath, unfortunately.
Covered in little hearts, I assume.
I can't remember. It came up on the podcast. Yeah, I can't help it. I end up doing comedy, but I have a note. If you don't want this to be a comedy, replace him with a real ghost.
I grabbed the county map I stole from county fair map that I stole from Google.
This one is the Clay County Agricultural Fair.
Yeah,
it's done in a very nice. What is that
style?
Where it's like
it's slightly isometric. It's not like you'd be at a corner if you were a full ISO, but
it's like bigger and
yeah. It's
nice.
in perspective.
Nice
for
hand drawn style.
Oh yeah, there would probably be like a rodeo section.
A rodeo.
It depends on what you want to.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining.
Yeah, thanks for joining. I'm T-Rex. One of the dangers with having a good idea is you also might drift from your original concept the deeper you get. And sometimes it's a good thing, right? Sometimes you as you explore a location and come up with stuff for it, you can absolutely come up with too many good ideas and abandon your original premise. Actually, for our most recent mystery on Sarah's stream, where we did the Botanical Gardens.
The Devil You Grow.
The Devil You Grow, thank you. I'm bad at names.
This is our relationship.
Yeah.
This is how it works.
Emma remembers things of critical named importance, and I allude to them long enough for her to know what I'm talking about. But the W Grow started off as I wanted to do a logging one. I wanted to like do something like in the forest with like a logging community or something. And then I think you had just said the words botanical garden, and then we just completely abandoned ship with that idea.
I think it was Arboretum originally.
Yeah, you're right.
And then I was like, are there any arboretums around us?
Well,
and we looked that up.
And I realized that like the idea of having we wanted this one to be kind of creepy, and having the ability to have topiary in your setting just
I
gives
love a good
you
topiary.
Yeah, it gives you so many options for like weird creepy shit. So it's like, no, yeah, we have to go somewhere with topiary for this. We got to get up to our weirdest selves. So
yep, penis topiary was a thing.
I was gonna say, and Sarah absolutely got up to her weirdest self for that one.
Child of the forest, yo.
That's right.
Should we have a petting zoo?
I like the idea of a petting zoo. Well, here's the thing. The more we explore the fair as an idea, the more I think we are drifting from our original conceit for like the missing stuff. Because then like this I think limits our scope a little bit. So maybe we do revise. Maybe we do have a murder at the county fair.
I think it's still cool to have the stuff go missing. It could just go missing at the county fair.
Okay.
Because then at least there's more likelihood that it will be at the place.
Okay. Interesting. All right. So then let's say we're losing our alien angle, but that's okay. Sometimes you have to sometimes, and I like the fair idea too much to not sacrifice something on the thing. So I think then Farmer's Farm isn't a real location, because like we want to keep the Mavens all to the county fair. We want them to stay on the Barnstable fairground. So then, yeah, in which case we can actually fill out our fair a little bit more. We can have a first aid tent. We can have the show pavilion, which is where things disappeared. It is essentially our place where the murder happened, or in this case, the stuff disappeared.
That's another pro tip. Try to recognize the fact that if you have to have your Mavens move from place to place too much, it's going to take time.
Yep.
So if you can have locations in like one place for the most part, it will help you.
What was the suggestion we just had as far as
petting zoo?
Petting zoo, yeah, I love the idea of a petting zoo. Because one thing we only kind of touched on earlier talking about clues is with Brindlewood Bay, you also have void clues, which are your weirder, wilder ones that relate to your dark conspiracy, or don't. They can just be like weird little tidbits that you can just give to your players. And petting zoos are an innocuous location, and so it's a fantastic location to reveal some really, truly weird and creepy shit. Mm-hmm. So I love that as a location because it's a great place to give void clues out. What else is? Let's look at our map here. What else we got that's interesting?
Often there's a little carnival of some sort.
Yeah, we have like a carnival area. I wonder if that might be me expanding the scope too much, but we'll think about it.
I'm just imagining a little like flying saucer ride that could like tie into the.
Oh yeah. Okay, you've brought me around on maybe still having an alien angle. If you just have like,
I'm thinking maybe some like alien kind of body snatchers type vibes.
Okay, we're drifting, and I'm not unhappy about it. Okay, so let's say there's like a
the sheep got shrunk for the petting zoo. It's a mini sheep.
UFO ride.
Yeah. How many locations do you think is a reasonable number for a mystery like this?
I usually start with 5, and then if we feel like we need more, we add more. With complexity 7, there are hard recommendations that have been made. My experience with something of this size is you usually want like 1 or 2 more suspects than your complexity. It actually takes more time to introduce more people
That's
You
true.
often only introduce a handful of your suspects in the same way that you don't use all of your clues. I'm a TRX was saying earlier that Jason usually suggests 20 clues, and then you just kind of whittle down from there.
And Dixon has mentioned players can always add more.
Yep.
Which is very much the case.
So you never have to. You don't have to be too extensive, but it helps to have all of your major bases covered, especially if you're like running a one shot and you want to make sure you get through everything. Would be fun? Would be fun. We have a show pavilion. We got our petting zoo, first aid tent, carnival area.
Sometimes you add things so that your players have fun moments that they can engage in as well. Like somebody can ride the UFO ride.
Yep.
And that is in and of itself a fun little thing to do.
And there's like a
Ooh, pie eating contest is a good idea.
Oh, okay. Yep. So we'll have like food. I was going to say the food pavilion, but I don't want to use the word pavilion twice.
Do they have it down here somewhere on the?
They just had it labeled as
on the
food,
map key?
food and concerts.
Okay.
Food corral.
Food arena. Food corral.
Corral is not bad.
Food tent. Food courtyard.
No, food tent is good. We can call that a tent.
Food barn.
Food barn. Oh,
food hall.
Food
there we
hall. There we go. And then we'll put like event. We'll have a pie eating contest. I love that.
Cool.
So we've got a set of locations. And we can always add more, of course, as we brainstorm. But now let's get to the best part of working on a Brindlewood Bay mystery. I'm gonna shuffle this.
I think everybody's gonna have their own best part of.
Yeah, we've got our suspects. We've got some locations. Let's write up clues.
Clues are my favorite part.
Yeah, they're fun.
Clues.
And then we'll also, at the same time,
we just got a letter.
We'll make a section for void clues because the likelihood of us coming up with only normal same clues.
I love my void
clues. Pretty
clues.
Unlikely.
I love coming up with random creepy shit.
Oh yeah, it's the best part.
First one that came to mind was black charred sheep bones. Ooh. Still steaming.
I like that.
It's like barbecue.
Like it's a regular clue.
Ribs, anybody?
Oh, what's good?
I had that for dinner the other night.
I don't think we've had ribs since coming here. Barbecue is a big thing in Kansas City where we're from. So like, but it's like different kind.
Yeah,
kinda.
Yeah. Different vibes.
The barbecue I have had here
good.
Has been pretty good. A completely unidentifiable plant growing from sheep droppings. I take that and raise you a plant growing a sheep.
Ooh.
But that's because I watched Delicious in Dungeon last night.
It's true.
Baramets, I think is what it was called.
Mm-hmm. I like the core of that one. Something growing something else. What about as a void clue a plant, like a plant growing into the shape of a blue ribbon?
Ooh.
Like it's like it's the kind of void clue that when you think about it, you're like, wow, that's pretty weird. But it's one that leaves you like scratching your head instead of running in fear. Plant growing hot dogs. Okay.
Plant growing corn dogs?
Hear me out.
Yeah, okay.
The corn dog tree.
Dog tree.
It's the tree that grows the corn dogs.
Yes. And then they can be, don't be silly, a money tree doesn't exist.
Yeah. I'm going to take that idea you just dropped, Dixon, and for now we're just going to call it
Special fertilizer. With a sign on it that says, like, do not touch.
You know what? I want a quote about the farmer family.
Okay.
I want the farmers have something. Like the farmers are something. I want a quote about the farmers. Feels fun.
Generate your farmer bad mouthing now.
Yeah. Who wants to talk shit on some farmers? Get in the comments.
They use their own shit.
Oh, I mean that's kind of a fun rumor. Which is like another category of this thing. Like the farmers use their own shit to grow their crops.
Human feces is actually not great for growing plants, but
Maybe because they're aliens.
that's the thing. Maybe they're not human.
And their shit is blue.
Bioproducts.
I meant byproduct.
Ah, that's
The
a
product.
You're right. I just can't spell.
byproducts are what you get for.
Byproducts.
I was thinking for like during Pride Month, you have the things that are meant for bisexuals as the byproducts.
Fair.
By poop. This seems a bit insulting.
There's no.
It's fine either way.
Flying sheep sighting. Ooh.
Flying sheep sighting is good.
Oh, I mean, excuse me. This is a fair.
Pig
When pigs fly. When pigs fly.
Mhm.
Gardeners buy their prize crops from. Ooh.
Ooh. I like that.
They don't grow their own.
Mm-hmm.
Love that.
I'm gonna categorize both of these as rumor, because both of these are pretty strong allegations that I would say are probably too strong to be a clue themselves. If like that's that like the whole thing is. Oh, thank you. At the U.
Don't say thank you.
Well, it fixed the red line, so.
Yeah, this is New Zealand English on my Google Docs.
Oh, that's why it wanted us to use an S for fertilize instead of a Z.
Oh, should I try it? Yep, you've already fixed that. It's right now.
And see, I look at that for specifically to fertilize, and I'm like, that looks so wrong to me. Used to seeing that strong ol' Z.
Let's spitball some more clues. What's fun? What's interesting? What could have happened?
What about a clue about our Schrodinger's mirror?
Ooh, actually, so one thing you'll often do with clues is you'll say, like, yeah, you'll have something either that points directly to a suspect, like specifically, like, yeah, we could have like the mayor's seal on a box or something like that, right? Or you can have a more generic version of a clue where you say like a large bill addressed to a suspect, and then you can like fill that in at time of play.
We should definitely have a vegetable that's either just absolutely ridiculously too big.
Oh yeah.
Or a vegetable that is in a particular shape that is unnatural.
Square potatoes. Better for chipping.
Square potatoes.
That's it. That's the clue. Square potatoes, better for chipping.
Very good.
I
That
assume
could
you grow them
that could
the
be
same way
a
you grow square watermelons, but
yeah,
okay.
you kind of grow them in boxes, or alien technology. Who's to say?
Yeah, maybe this is a particular type of potato that grows square.
Do we need a guy who goes, aliens? I'm not saying it's aliens, but it's aliens.
I think that's the corn dog man.
He's probably the most normal person there. He just has a corn dog tree.
It's just Giorgio Tsoukalos in a corn dog man costume.
Very true.
Giorgio Tsoukalos is the name of the guy in the aliens meme. that has the hair, where he looks like he's being abducted, but very slowly.
I'm gonna say the mayor's. It's like the the seal of the mayor
Mm-hmm.
on a sus no, like a contestant's crate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Often, the winner of contests like this will be given particular contracts with the government for for providing them with like products.
Yeah.
So like, if you have the prize pig, then you will be the provider
Bacon
of
supplier.
the bacon supplier. I can't think of words right now. The bacon supplier
Bake-
for the mayor.
Yeah.
I was thinking too big. I was thinking for the Pentagon, but okay.
The Massachusetts Pentagon.
That's right.
There
Also,
probably is something called the Pentagon. We could make it up.
story from Dixon in chat. Did I ever tell you of the time I went to vote and as I came out, a guy in a hot dog suit was in line and he waved at me, telling me that I was the real wiener that day.
That's amazing.
It's fantastic. Dixon, I would actually wait. It's like you're not supposed to ask people where they vote because there's like different intimidation that could be done. But Dixon, I want to vote wherever you vote. Like, I want that experience at my voting place.
Well, you'll have to do a mail-in vote this time, won't you?
Yeah.
Probably. Unless we happen, for whatever reason, to be back in the country just as that's
like at the right
happening.
time, which I don't think it's going to be the case.
Ooh, that's a good one, Dixon.
Ooh, yeah.
The map of the fair looks like a crop circle. I like that.
Or
it's made out to look like one.
The grounds around one of the locations was cleared like a crop circle. Because like a lot of times with these fairgrounds, they're like in kind of these open fields. Because like most of the year they're not used except for like specific events. And so like I'm imagining you could have the mavens realize that like the carnival grounds is like all built up. You know, these structures are all built up inside of a large crop circle with like surrounding grasses around it, that sort of thing.
Got to think about your dramatic moments.
Yeah, I like that. Crop circle zone is very good. I do want to work in some aliens to this. I do think it's fun.
There could be a rumor that like one of the families are illegal aliens.
I just don't realize how alien.
Exactly.
Yeah, all right. I'll bite.
I like square potatoes.
It's really good.
Better for chipping.
Better for chipping.
Why are they square? Better for chipping.
That's the line. It's like somebody, farmer, pulls the sprig of wheat at their mouth, spits to the side. Better for chipping. Back in.
Better for packing too.
Yeah, better for packing, better for chipping. There is something wrong about opening up a crate and have it be full of potatoes, but they're like not haphazardly, piled inside of there, but instead are perfectly stacked in
Can
neat
you
little
imagine
rows.
them in a potato sack?
It's like a square potato sack. A perfectly square potato sack. Full of square potatoes. Dixon, I know that square watermelons are real, but it's not as wrong to me. There's something unnatural about square potatoes. I can't quite put my finger on it, but like the more of them you see,
seen them before. That's why.
I think it's probably partially the fact that they would grow underground.
Oh yeah, that's her.
Better for
More
chipping.
efficient French fries. That's exactly what we meant by better for
Better for
chipping.
chipping.
Because
That's right.
chips here are French fries,
That's
but they're thicker.
that's not necessarily a phrase that he would be as familiar with.
Fair.
So probably not really a Massachusetts phrase either. Better for French frying.
Yeah, something like that. Better for turning. We don't really have like just a better for chipping.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if we have got you could say good for fries.
Yeah. Good for turning into fries. You kind of have to add extra stuff. I like the idea of like traces of fertilizer found in a particular place.
I think by having the special fertilizer clue, we can have that discovered anywhere. So
Okay.
we sort of get that covered. That else would be good. What else is good and fun? So we've got so this is a good time to think about one of the ways that clues are often zoned in Brindlewood Bay is you think about clues that you can find kind of anywhere, and then you have ones that are you can find in maybe specific locations or in like veiled locations where you'd have to like really go hunting for it. So having clues that you can like find at those different levels of the mystery is always good. And then I also like to have clues that are like very physical objects that the Maven can like take around with them. And then you have ones that are more nebulous ideas that they've like learned or acquired in the course of conversation or other investigation. Um, shingles.
They come in a square can.
Yeah, come in a square can. Tin chips. I love that. I would buy shingles.
Alternative
Yep.
name for this mystery now. Shit on a shingle.
Shit on a shingle.
Now, would you eat shingles? You said you'd buy them.
Well, as long as they were made out of potato.
Yeah.
What's good? What's clever? What's fun?
You can hear a sheep baaing. There is no sheep anywhere near.
Oh, yeah.
A rogue baa. That would be a void clue, probably.
Actually, I think that's a good clue.
Okay.
Like you can hear a sheep somewhere, but when you follow it, it doesn't lead you anywhere. Because then like you could have an explanation like they've been hidden somewhere or something like that.
Pat says we've got to have a half-eaten muffin. That's impossibly good. We could also have half-eaten mutton. That's impossibly good.
There it is.
The
Oh,
sheep
alternatively-
could be invisible.
They're not missing. They're just invisible.
You just suddenly can't see sheep for some reason.
A turkey leg that is impossibly good.
Yeah. A bleating.
Bleat.
No, it's that. There we go. Bleating sheep can be heard but not seen.
Love that.
So then the Mavens can interpret that as they're being hidden away somewhere. You can interpret that as ghost sheep. You could interpret that as and the sheep is invisible.
The bleeding heart.
Well, I'm going to add that to void clues.
Does the heart bleat?
What a great
Bat,
up to
bat,
interpretation.
bat, bat,
Yeah, just
bat, bat,
bat,
bat,
bat, bat, bat, bat.
That would be
That
fun for you.
can you tip upside down, it goes. Meh, meh.
Yes,
But
exactly.
it's you
Uh,
gotta pump the heart to make it bleat.
a love letter.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh yeah. From one of a love letter between a gardener and a farmer.
What about some parsley
Sage, rosemary, and thyme.
what?
You said, what if I heard parsley? I think
Oh,
you were
not
saying
parsley.
partially.
No. I was thinking like because the whole idea is one family might be full of illegal aliens. What if there's an incomplete, not quite completed residency form and it has like hometown or something and it's written in symbols.
Oh yeah. I kind of like then I like that being part of this clue.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah, we could do like it could be like a letter from some government agency.
Or it could still be a love letter. It could just be, "I love the way your snooker noodles glisten in the morning dew," or something like that.
I'm just glad that sentence was said. You were very close.
let's do that for now.
Mm-hmm.
How many are we at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Complexity 7, so we want at least 14 or 15. So another 4 clues or so, and obviously more are better always with clues. But
What if we see normal potatoes go into the judging tent, and then you hear some weird sounds, and then square potatoes come out of the judging?
So let's extract the like the things changing element of that.
Yeah.
I like the idea of stuff like going that. There's something there. There's something there. We gotta pull it out.
Weird sounds in the judging tent.
I like the idea of something being transformed.
And then on the other side, square potatoes.
That's how square potatoes are born.
Potatoes that were once round, now square.
Well, we already have square potatoes as
Okay.
a thing. Yeah, I think that clue covers that part of the ground. But like, I like the idea of like something going in one way and coming out another.
Cucumber looks like it was inflated.
An inflated cucumber is a good base clue.
Judge is missing and a
Ooh.
new prize sheep appears.
Yeah. Something like that happened in my D&D game last night, and the players are now convinced that they may have accidentally killed a creature that used to be a person.
Oh.
Oh.
Well,
I'm just sitting there going, "This is really interesting."
I mean, yes, absolutely that's what happened, and that's what I meant all along.
I will neither confirm nor deny.
Yeah, I've adapted your clue there, Dixon, to a suspect has been replaced by a sheep in their clothing, which is very fun.
Or it could just
Love
be
that.
they took their clothes off and put it on a sheep, and then they
Could
ran
be.
off.
Yeah, a suspect you saw earlier in the mystery is now a sheep in their clothes. Please explain.
Potatoes have sheep pattern on them, like little sheep silhouette as a pattern.
Let's play up more. Let's lean into either. Let's give some motives. I think we've got like
The
enough.
corn has literal ears.
Ooh. All right. I'll go on the void clues.
Corn with ears. There you go.
2 men in a bull costume win an award.
Actually,
so you're saying the one at the back is well hung?
Dick.
So you're saying there's
It's
a
a
chance.
dick. I like
okay.
that
I'm
you
gonna
didn't finish his name.
a stud bull is just 2 men in a costume.
Beautiful.
A blue ribbon stud bull.
A foreclosure letter.
Ooh,
On one of the
or
farms.
a deed, like a transfer deed for a suspect's farm,
A transfer deed is good.
or a lien, perhaps some kind of debt.
Yeah,
You could have like a lien against a property, right?
I think that's an American thing.
well, we're in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not really
A
something
property
that
lien is a
really-
legal claim on assets that allows the holder to obtain access to the property if debts are not paid. So yeah, I like that. A lien against the family farm.
From what I understand, it means they also can't sell it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or it means that if it does get sold, then the debt collectors get paid first.
On insurance, a like insurance ticket for the
Hear me out. All of the missing produce and animals
animals.
were heavily insured.
You insure vegetable?
I know you can broadly as a farmer, in that like you can insure your crop. If like so
Okay.
if something goes wrong that year or whatever, then you still get a payout. But I like the idea that like, somebody took out a special insurance policy
For their
on
prize cucumbers.
for their prize cucumbers for their blue ribbon sheep for.
That's good. Let's think about some of the other people.
Oh, what about like a bribery angle for the judges?
Bribery is good.
Bribery is always good and fun.
Bribery as a motive for a mystery.
sorry. Bribery is not good. Don't do it. It's bad for society.
I mean, no.
So, Mr. Mass, Kiana Gilbert, or Mia Schrodinger being bribed, or all of them.
Yeah, I think a judge has been taking strange bribes. I like the idea of
Like
something
that?
other than money.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah. What other than money?
yeah, what other than money? I just like the void clue, the corn dog tree. There's just something about that. Just the tree where he goes to corn dog.
Void clue. Picture from like early days of photographs of one of the suspects looking young, looking the same.
Hear me out. This is the void clue. We'll step this up a little bit. Picture like an original
Founder of the
photo
Fear.
of the county, the first ever. What's our county again? Barnstable. Barnstable County Fair with all of the mavens in it.
Yeah, that's a good one for a void
It's a good
clue.
void clue. With all the mavens in it and all of their loved ones.
Oh.
Ooh, creepy.
Yeah. Love that.
Probably. Guess it depends on when the first Barnstable County Fair was.
Well, you'll have to put down that it's like the centennial year or something that
Yeah,
the
there you go.
event has been held. And then you can say, why isn't your son-in-law in that picture? I guess you don't love them.
Oof. Not what I meant. All right, Centennial Barnstable County Fair.
Why is your neighbor in that photo?
Hmm.
I like the idea of sticking with the E spelling. They just spell it differently for
Yeah,
copyright.
probably, but that's fine.
We could pad out with another few clues. I definitely would want another 4 or 5, but we've also, I think we have created this mystery for all intents and purposes. Like you would add.
The only other thing I would say is like maybe some set the scene questions.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. We didn't talk about paint the scene questions for locations. This is one of the other most fun things to do. So Well, actually, there's a few really fun things to do. But
Whole
we
thing's
also,
fun.
yeah, I really
Oh.
like.
No, that is one clue that we do need as a void clue. In a spider web,
You're right.
some words.
I think that's just a regular clue.
Good for chipping.
Let's see. In
The bull is bull.
a cryptic message in a spider's web.
Yeah.
We should probably write out what that message is.
Yeah, but this is, we're not doing a fully fleshed out. This is, a rough mystery.
Yeah.
Rough and tumble. This is enough where we could turn around and run this mystery. Just enough. You'd want ideally some more stuff in there. One of the things that is good for suspects if we were going to be filling these out is
Bless you.
the usual structure of a suspect for Brindlewood Bay. You have couple of short sentences just describing their general look and demeanor, any critical elements as far as how they relate to the story or why they're there, and then you often give them a quote that is kind of, if the mavens run into this character, something they will definitely say in the course of their very initial conversation with them. So for bitter rivals, Kiana's quote. Let's see. I know that people adored the Firebird Act that Rob put on, but I honestly think our town and our institutions are better now that it's gone. People were distracted from the real historical things that make our community special. Now we can finally focus on elevating the awareness of Brindlewood Bay's delightful cultural heritage. And so, that's something that's how she feels about the mystery as it stands for that.
Or there was a one, I think, in the it was Lance, who was in the military reenactment. It was
you got time to talk, you got time to squat.
You got time to talk, you got time to squat.
Never forget.
Now, is that the boyfriend or the son of the boyfriend? Because I can never remember Bill's boyfriend's name.
I would have to rewatch that game to remember.
Might be the boyfriend.
I could see that for sure.
Hayward was just the one who had them keep squatting. I was like, well, I gotta run with this.
Actually, I like that as well, Dixon. Mr. Mass, maybe advertising
a new product.
His emailing.
A sheep-based MLM.
He's making corn. He's making crop tops. It's not sheep-based. It's corn-based.
He's buying T-shirts and just chopping the bottoms off them and reselling them, right?
And then attaching corn in some way.
All right, cool.
It's a corn-based fabric.
Yep.
Oh yeah, so the cryptic message should be something about pyramids.
That would be fun.
Because then you can definitely tie that to some ancient alien shit.
Ancient alien stuff. That could be pyramid scheme. That could be lots of stuff. Let's talk about locations real quick. One of the best things about locations is having sort of paint the scene questions or statements that give the players an opportunity to kind of flesh out the location a little bit further. And it's also, I think paint the scene questions are a fantastic way for you to really set the tone for the mystery. Because as the keeper, when you read them out, it establishes what's the nature of that place, but it leaves it vague enough that the players get to fill in how that nature reveals itself, right? The petting zoo, I want... what do we want the vibe of the petting zoo to be? Is it warm and delightful and there's chattering children? Is it oddly silent? Is it sad? Are the animals, not terribly happy there?
Let's not do the route of abused animals.
All right.
Yeah, no, that's my line.
Yeah. Let's go warm, cozy, I like the idea of like if it's weird and creepy, it's weird and creepy in the familiar.
Hear me out. This petting zoo does not have any of the petting zoo animals you expect.
Okay, yeah,
So like
that.
a
Okay.
snake.
Yeah. They got a big old Komodo dragon.
Ooh.
Terrible idea for an animal in a petting zoo.
Maybe there's a tank of oysters.
Yes.
Okay. I think our paint the scene then is this petting zoo doesn't have any of the animals you expect. What does it have instead? I love a tank of oysters at a petting zoo. I adore that. That's so wonderful. Okay, that's the vibe. Perfect.
Yeah,
Nailed it first shot. For the show pavilion. So this is our essentially our murder scene, right? The show pavilion is where the stuff was stolen from or otherwise
our crime scene.
Our crime scene, yes.
There are other kinds of crimes other than murder.
No, there's only one kind of crime.
It's all murder. Even when things are stolen, you've murdered my ownership of
it's murder all the way down. So yeah, our show pavilion is a crime scene. What's the vibe of the crime scene? Let's see. You'll have judges potentially milling about through here, interested onlookers coming to see the oversized pumpkins and massive courgettes.
You'll have the different people who have put their stuff up on display who are like overlooking it. You probably have some sort of like
security?
Carnival barker. Security as well.
Oh, actually that's good. That's fun. Maybe the paint the scene could be around like the townsfolk of Brindlewood Bay take the county fair very seriously. What shows of security are present in the show pavilion? Something along those lines.
There are men in suits of earpieces.
This is actually a pretty well secured area. How is it secured? That's
metal
actually
detectors.
Very good.
Portable metal detectors.
Portable metal detectors.
Pat downs for everyone coming into the pavilion.
Can you imagine?
Surprisingly seriously, I'll say. What?
I was surprised when I went to America a couple decades back and you guys had metal detectors to get into your library. I was like, what the hell happens in American libraries?
Well, some of them won't have metal detectors, but you will have like similar apparatus to
make sure that you've
make sure that
out the
book. Yeah, make sure you've checked the books out properly. But
also, I have seen ones with metal detectors because gun violence is a big problem in the U.S.
See.
Right. I did like Dixon's thing. There's a different special signature dish presented every year. What is it this year?
Oh, I like that.
So that would be in the food hall, probably.
Yeah, food hall. Although one of the things with paint the scenes is we want to make them open for multiple players to answer, right? So rather than having a single signature dish,
what dish have you brought to the competition, the baking competition?
Oh,
that'd be
that
fun.
Is fun.
Because a lot of grandmas cook. Not all.
or we could also do. Maybe you can select from maybe if we're gonna have a pie eating contest event in the food hall, then we could have it be around like what pie flavors are available.
That'd be fun.
Or okay, hear me out. Because like a lot of one of our themes is kind of like one-upmanship, right?
Yeah.
So in a similar way, like bakers around Brindlewood Bay take the pie. There's maybe a pie auction. There's a pie auction.
Auction.
There is a pie auction that feeds into the pie eating contest. there are intense rivalries between local
Bakeries
bakers
or bakers, yeah.
For who can fetch the highest dollar for their pies. What unique flavors are on display? Flavors are on display.
Here's the secret. Here's the secret
Catch.
about set the scene questions. They're not really questions, or rather, the thing that you are asking, the thing that your players are answering, is not the most important thing about the question. Really, what it is a little nugget of information that you are giving your players, and then you are having them understand and like take that nugget of information in a little bit more deeply by having them engage with it a little bit more. So, for example, we've decided that the security at for the show pavilion is like actually very intense. That's a thing that until that moment was up in the air, and would have been something that would have been sort of discussed probably in a theorize. But now, since we have that written, and that's now like just a little node, a little pin in the conspiracy board.
Yeah. Well, and it makes it more complicated, right? Because it's like, okay, well now, rather than having just had this stuff disappear, we're saying it disappeared from a secure location, and the players get to help us define like what that security is. And so then understanding what might have happened to it despite that is very like heist vibes for the theorize at the end, which is fun.
Gotcha.
This is what I settled with for the food hall. There's a pie auction that feeds into the pie eating contest. There are intense rivalries between local bakers for who can fetch the highest dollar for their pies. What unique flavors are on display to catch the eye of hungry bidders? Now you get to have like weird variety, and then like I could definitely see somebody getting into some like really weird pie flavor ideas, and that could somehow feed into a theorize at the end. Cause it's like, this is why we saw these specific flavors, because that's like the beauty of Brindlewood Bay is anything that is spoken aloud at the table is fair game for being part of the theorize when the time comes. What else? Let's do first aid tent next.
Who's here? Who was injured in themselves and how?
Drake Raven.
Fair. Is it busy? Are there a lot of people who've injured themselves? Well, what's the detail we want to nail down by asking our question?
And one of the things we can do with that is, what is the function in this mystery of the first aid tent?
I think it's a great place to meet suspects, I would say. Like while they can't like go anywhere else, right? And if they're injured, that means something has happened to them. So they have a story to tell, right? So I like that about it as a location. So let's like maybe feed into that a little bit.
You could do something like many people have come to the first aid tent reporting a similar group of symptoms. What are the symptoms?
Oh, that's fun. I like that, because then you could have like food poisoning. You could have all sorts of...
have something to do with the aliens.
Yeah.
Maybe something to do with the special corn dog man. Related to the corn dog man.
The corn dogs weren't ripe enough. Corn dogs weren't ripe. They just didn't go down well.
Yeah.
Yeah, a large number of people have come to the first aid tent reporting the same symptoms. What are they? That's good. That's fun. And then the carnival area.
Maybe they came in overheated because they swear they heard sheep where there were none.
Yeah, exactly. It's a great way to drop in clues, like, or even
those are exactly the sort of things that we want to get spinning in people's heads when they're answering it.
Yeah, so somebody could even be like, everybody is dealing with like stomach pain and dizziness and nausea, and then you've established that as to paint the scene, and then as somebody asks them more questions about it, you could get a clue that is like, oh, I was eating some of these square potatoes, and like it turns out everybody who's feeling that way ate some of the square potatoes, and now you like have a more deep emotional connection to that clue.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah.
They find some
Writing
special fertilizer in the food hall.
mhm.
writing Brindlewood Bay Mysteries is basically uh, giving a particular set of open possibilities.
Yeah.
It's a controlled creative process.
So what do we want to nail down about carnival? Yeah.
What's the function?
What's the function?
It is probably a place where they go to follow up on a clue that they've already received.
Yeah, or to like follow a suspect or something.
Mhm.
Or to go and have a good time.
Or to go and have
because
a good time.
like this is of a county fair. The Maven's like absolutely sticking to what they're like ostensibly there to do is investigating something is unlikely.
Yeah.
Right? Like wandering off and doing something else is totally in line with how Mavens might often approach something like this.
So in that case, you're going to want this to reinforce either the one-upmanship, one of our themes, right? So either the one-upmanship or the like weird, maybe alien stuff, or something to do with potentially something that has gone missing.
We could talk about this one could be a naming things question.
There are very strange.
Like there are strange carnival rides here. Name like describe a ride and give it a name.
Yeah, that's fun. Create your own carnival ride.
Yeah. I think if
let's
we're leaving it that vague for them, then we should have a strong theme for them.
Yeah, let's say like the carnival rides all have a strong outer space theme.
Yeah. And you could get more specific with that if you wanted to. This is definitely like a first pass at this question, but the carnival rides all have an outer space theme. Describe a ride and give it a name.
Astro Blasters, and it's just
whack-a-mole.
Whack-a-mole. With little like meteorites that come up and you just boink.
Like the teacup ride at Disneyland, but you're in a little UFO saucer.
Yes, exactly. Perfect vibe. There's a spinning octopus style ride, but it's been like painted with like stars and moons and suns to give it like a sort of space octopus alien vibe.
So
Celestial.
A bit Cthulhu-esque.
Yeah, a little bit.
Old gods.
A little bit old god from Beyond the Stars vibes. But yeah, this is all's fair in love and corn. We've got a collection of suspects. Normally, you would you'd flesh these out, give them descriptions, give them quotes. But I don't know how long you wanted this stream to go for, Sarah. But I feel like we have accomplished the goal.
You feel awake enough to keep doing it. So
I am definitely starting to fade, admittedly.
You can wrap it up here if you want to. You said it just needs to be fleshed out a bit more. And how does the introduction?
Yeah, and then the other thing we would do is we would figure out. Okay, now we know what happened, and we know kind of the people we might run across. We know the places we might go. We know the types of clues we're going to encounter.
So then the next thing would be, how do you introduce the mystery?
Yeah, why? And with your establishing question, why are the Mavens there? So usually you have a bit of narration, kind of establishing what the situation is. You have a paint the scene to just let the Mavens flesh out what this event is like a little bit. And this one actually probably would be a little bit more general, just to kind of describe the overarching feel of the fair. And then move into an establishing question for why the Mavens are there. In this case, probably this is the bit that I always do last because like it's the trickiest bit to write. But probably the Mavens are, let's say they're there because, I mean, it's a big event.
Mhm.
It's a cool, fun event.
It's a local attraction.
Yeah, it's a local attraction. So then, probably then, we just have the assumption that this is something the Mavens would be interested in attending. So then the establishing question might be something like,
What are you most excited
yeah, what are you most
to-
excited for at the county fair this year? And
then depending on those answers,
it'll then shape what exists at the county fair, right?
Mhm.
And that's the also the other secret thing is that you take all the ideas your players give you and you use them against them.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
And it is like the centennial
Yeah, this is a big event.
fair, so it's like the biggest one in a while.
Yeah, so basically we would include in one way or another our little details that we've chucked as just kind of flavor for the mystery. We'll include those one way or another in a description of the fair, of like the fact that it's the centennial one, of the significance of it, and then we'd probably have the paint the scene that is just for the Mavens to describe. I might even have the paint the scene actually, or maybe we'll do the establishing question sooner. Be the one to like establish like what are you excited for? Like why did you come this year? Like you came and you are excited. What are you excited for? And then after that, you get to the Mavens while you're going around. You hear a commotion by in this case,
By the show pavilion.
Yeah, you hear a commotion by the show pavilion, and then we just describe the scene there of like there's like a farmer who has collapsed outside the tent on his knees, has like tore his shirt open and is like open wailing. There's like a box of blue ribbons that has been spilled out across the causeway.
A gardener is somewhere just like wailing on a crate, on a wooden crate, or maybe taking out their frustration.
We could go, if we're doing like two houses vibes, we could have like we seem to have kind of established a patriarch of the farmers and a matriarch of the gardeners.
That feels right.
With John and then Willow.
Uh-huh.
And so we could have like John and Willow like getting into a fist fight out front of the show pavilion.
I love that. Yeah, a duel.
Yeah. Oh yes.
The farmer gardener duel.
Yes. Oh, hear me out. Hear me out. This is this is what we do this. This is the setup. The duel. There's an official duel announced between there's like a glove slap and everything. Like these two are going to have a duel. It is like set for a few hours later that afternoon. And so the Mavens are on a timer. You have to figure out what happened to the missing produce and animals before the duel happens. Otherwise, one of these two is going to like kill each other. And so that gives you a really nice like impetus for the Mavens to do things quickly. And also it gives you a nice seed for something that might be part of the scene at the end when you theorize and go to solve the mystery. You can like interrupt the duel or let it happen or all sorts of fun stuff.
Or it gets interrupted by an alien saucer coming down and abducting them.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a fight, like something along the lines of there's a fight brewing
between John and Willow.
Yeah,
John
outside
Farmer.
the show pavilion between John Farmer and Willow Gardner. They have announced a duel later that day. The Mavens must find the missing produce and animals
or find out what happened to them.
Yeah.
And then Little John is in a secret relationship with either Ash or Greg.
Yep.
What happened to the produce and animals before
or maybe not. There's always the possibility that a clue doesn't get used.
Mhm.
Otherwise, the mavens must find or find out what happened to the missing produce and animals before the duel. Otherwise, blood will mark this centennial event.
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, the presenting of the mystery stuff is the time to, wax poetic a little bit, and set up the scene for the mystery. You create the vibes, and then you dive right in.
And then it can get a lot more detailed if you want to really uh really direct your what do they call them? Keepers
Mhm.
in BB.
Yeah.
If you really want to lay out groundwork, but you often work from just a little bit more than what we've written here. Usually, you'll have a little bit more in the way of descriptions. You'll usually have quotes for the suspects.
Yeah.
That's about the only thing we haven't fleshed out.
Yeah, and one thing you can add, it's not something that I do in my prep, but it is something that is standard now with a lot of Brindlewood Bay materials, mystery materials, is you can also have moments. And moments are basically, they're a handy thing for the keeper to have. They're little bits of flavor that you can drop in to give a little bit more life to your setting, to your scenes.
I think the reason you tend not to include them is simply because you tend to do that.
Yeah, I do that
in
anyway.
scene. Yeah.
And so, like, it's not something that like I need a reference for as much. But it's something that I think they started doing for the materials for the Between, and then when they got around to the Brindlewood Bay Kickstarter, they added that in for all the previous mysteries and stuff.
And then the other thing that is often a thing you can find, but not for every mystery, is there are.
Oh yeah, Crowns of the Queen and Crowns of the Void.
Yeah.
Are how you upgrade roles in the game mechanically for the Mavens. And you can have special crowns for just that mystery that the players can use.
Which you did last time we
Mm-hmm.
played. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's basically it can be a get out of jail free card a little bit for your players if you want to give them basically a free bad roll and help move things along a little bit faster without them feeling like they have to sacrifice something that's kind of limited, a limited resource for their character.
Especially if you're going to lean a little bit harder on your Mavens in a particular mystery.
Like, I think they're really great to have for sweepstakes mysteries.
Yeah,
which
when things
tend
often
to
get more dangerous.
Yeah, crazy and weird. But yeah, they're very fun. I probably wouldn't do one on this.
No, I think this one's fine as is. It doesn't really need a special crown. Although they're also fun to include just as freebies for the players.
It's fun to think about. I would probably do something about like you remember visiting this this fair as a little girl, or as at some point in your life. How has it changed since you were first?
Oh, that's really fun. I like that a lot.
I'm good at this.
Yeah.
Obviously.
The crown of, what would we call it?
The flower crown.
The flower crown is good, or like the fair crown.
Yeah. The crown of the fair maiden.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is All's Fair in Love and Corn. It is a new Brindlewood Bay mystery, hot off the presses, ready for a table near you.
Yeah, it seems like it could be quite playable, just from what you've given us. Hint, hint, people.
Crown of Fair's past is good.
Yeah.
With the establishing question, the introduction there, which also, like you said, puts in a time limit and some tension there for them to work with. Suspect, the 5 locations, and the assortment of clues and the void clues, including some rumors in there.
Rumors are fun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That was
about the only
awesome.
thing we would add there is a little bit more fleshing out of the suspects.
You don't like my bullet point?
Oh, I like your bullet points. It bulleted the heading as well. So I was trying to figure
Oh,
out how
did
to
it?
fix that. Yeah, I
Mm.
There you go.
think I did. Okay, there we go. There we go. There we go. Cool.
Awesome. Okay, well, that was very, very interesting, quite fun too. And you guys did awesome considering all of us are a bit tired. So, do you guys want to quickly pimp your things again before we awkwardly wave bye?
Sure. Yeah, I'm in the habit of doing such. Yeah, if you like Brindlewood Bay Mysteries or any Powered by the Apocalypse games, we've got a podcast where we play various things like that. Bit of Rivals, the first one we wrote, was the one we played on the show, and it's since been released as part of an anthology. You may find a link there in the chat now.
Also, check out Brindlewood Bay. It's a great game.
It's a phenomenal game. If you haven't played it or seen it before, look it up. It's just a blast. It's There's so much joy in it. And we've written a rather goofy mystery, but things can also like get dark and weird and spooky.
They can get dark and weird and spooky. They can get very emotional because like you've got an entire person's life to like look back on and consider how they would feel about certain events.
Yeah. And so it's really it can play the gamut of the emotional spectrum. So strong recommend. And yeah, thanks for sticking around. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for helping us produce this monster that we have created.
I love it.
I am going to be thinking about the corn dog tree for the rest of the day.
Yeah. And thank you so much for both of you for coming on and taking us through how to create a Brindlewood Bay mystery. I have bought the book. I have not read the book. I have played the game with you because you tell me what to do to roll, and I do that. So that's how I've played it. And I think that's how a lot of people learn how to play games. Like it's the best way to be
That's
able
one of
to
the nice
do it.
things about Brindlewood Bay is that it's actually pretty player light as far as, and it's pretty keeper light
Yeah.
as well. One of the nice things about Emergent Mysteries is that you don't have to.
I don't have to lead you somewhere. I could just give you cryptic, weird stuff, and then the players have to figure out what happens. So it's great.
Yep. And it is a really, really great, quaint, cozy, but also a little bit dark and edgy if you want it to go be. It seems quite versatile in that way. I want to thank everyone for coming in, providing suggestions, making people talk in funny voices, making us hydrate and everything like that. We will now wave awkwardly while I find the bye-bye button. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thanks to
Bye.
everybody.